Hey guys, Josh here, and I'm so excited. Today's such a great day. We just had a Nintendo Direct a few hours ago, and it was filled with beautiful announcements. We're gonna have Brewster making a comeback in Animal Crossing New Horizons. There's gonna be a brand new Kirby game, a 3D Kirby game, which looks so beautiful. We're finally gonna have Nintendo 64 games on top of Sega Genesis games on Nintendo Switch Online. I think that was one of the biggest announcements for me, just the Nintendo 64 games. I'm so hyped up for this. I think I'm probably gonna make a whole other video on just everything related to the Nintendo Direct because there was just too many things to talk about. But for today's video, I would like to talk about Rune Factory 5. So actually in the Nintendo Direct, there was a little glimpse of a trailer for Rune Factory 5 with the release date. So it has been confirmed now. We have a release date for March 22nd, 2022. So before that, we just knew it was coming out in like Q1 2022. So it's really going to be coming out at the end of winter. So we still have some time. The wait is still going to be very long, but at least now we have a date. We know what to expect. And I don't think it's going to be delayed more than that, I hope. So yeah, it's just good that we have a date. So that's one thing, one big news. But there's a second big news. So actually, XSEED has released the whole 2 minutes trailer on their channel. And in this trailer, we actually see quite a few interesting things. So of course, we get to see some gameplay. We've all seen Rune Factory 4 gameplay by now. I've actually been playing the Japanese version of the game on this channel, so we know what the game looks like. So that's all good. However, near the end of the trailer, at about maybe 1 minute 6 into the trailer, you can see Murakumo and the male main character chatting, and Murakumo is asking for the main character to pick a nickname, which is something that usually happens when you're in a romantic relationship in Rune Factory. So you can ask your partner to pick a nickname for you and they're gonna call you by that nickname. So you guys know where I'm going. This shows that there's gonna be same-sex relationship, same-sex marriage in Rune Factory 5, which is not something that was included in the Japanese version of the game. And if you go at the very end of the trailer, you get this beautiful cutscene with the female main character and Beatrice, the beautiful Beatrice. And yeah, it's such a beautiful wedding cutscene. So you can see that they redid the cutscene. And so yeah, that's the news. We've got same-sex marriage for the North American version of Rune Factory 5. Which is a pretty big news because no one thought, well, I guess some people guessed it. Sometimes during my live stream, some people were saying, oh, maybe XSEED will be able to add the same-sex marriage, but no one really knew what was going to happen. And a lot of people were disappointed, of course, that it was not included in the Japanese version. So yes, this confirms it. So March 22nd, 2022, we have same-sex marriage and we have Rune Factory 5. And now let's go into a little bit more details. So XSEED, who localizes the game, sometimes they put out these localization blogs on their website. They did one where they talked about how they were translating the names. They're actually very interesting blogs. I will put the links in the description if you guys want to read them. I think they're worth the read. But in today's video, I just want to glance over their second localization blog, which they've just released today, and it talks about their thought process and everything related to the same-sex marriage. So let's just go through this very quickly, the most important points. So the first important thing that they mention is that Rune Factory 5 will be the first game in the series to include same-sex marriage. This means that from the start of the game, you can marry any of the 12 wonderful marriage candidates as Ares or Alice without avatar swapping or other conditions. Because in the Japanese version of the game, you could actually, once you finish the game once, you could change your avatar to the other gender. However, this would not change the cutscenes and this would not change the dialogue. So it was kind of a very clunky workaround. So it was a workaround, but it was not very good. So you're not going to have to do any of that. You'll be able to marry any of the 12 characters from the start. And yeah, so this feature was not present in the Japanese release of the game in May of this year, but will be added to that version in a future patch. It will be included in our game from launch. So that's pretty good news for all the Japanese players and everyone else who's playing the Japanese version of the game. We don't know quite yet when this patch is going to come out. I'm assuming it will probably come out before the full Western release. I don't know, but we'll see. But it's a pretty good news as well. So if you're playing on the Japanese version of the game and you want same-sex marriage, you're not going to have to buy the game twice. And in my case, I'll probably buy the game twice anyway because I want to play it in English and I just love Rune Factory so much. So I want to have both versions. And they also mentioned that adding the same-sex marriage did not delay the game's Western release. I know that a lot of people could be upset maybe about this. I think a lot of people were thinking that it could be the reason why the game was delayed. However, that's not the case. And I think that's always been like this for Rune Factory games. Usually they take a long time to translate, like at least 1 year or like quite some time because it's a lot of work. They have to translate from Japanese to English and then from English to French and German. And yeah, it's just a ton of work for XSEED to localize. And as you can see, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job. They did an amazing job with Rune Factory 4. And I think they're going to do such an amazing job with Rune Factory 5 as well. So I'm happy that they're not trying to rush the translation or anything like that. They really want to make sure that the localization and translation is well done. And I really appreciate that. So thank you, XSEED. They also mentioned that they had asked for same-sex marriage to be included in the game as early 2018 and felt optimistic after it appeared in Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town. However, as we started reviewing design materials and text files, we grew worried that Rune Factory 5 didn't have it. So after that, they just worked with Marvelous Localization Department in Japan to check their plans, and they told them that no, it was not planned for the game. However, they kind of maybe argued a little bit to add it to the game, and they probably were able to convince Marvelous that it would be very good for the Western audience and also for the Japanese players actually, which is why they're going to be updating the Japanese version of the game as well. And they agreed, and then they started working on this and deciding what would be changed and how they would do this. And let's talk a little bit about that. So of course, one thing they have to change is the text. So a lot of the text in this game is gendered, so they have to tweak the text quite a bit in lots of dialogues. And they also said that they had to do some tweaks in regards to the nicknames. So as you saw earlier in the trailer with Murakumo and the male main character, in Rune Factory you can get nicknames that your partner is going to use for you. So these were pretty gender specific, so they had to change them. So they're giving this example right here. So with the marriage candidate Lucas, you can ask him to call you ma chérie, which is like feminine, or mon chéri, which is more like masculine, or mon amour, which is kind of like gender neutral, so it could work for both or anything in between. So they really kind of picked and adapted the nicknames so that everyone feels like they can pick a nickname that's going to fit them. So that's a pretty good news as well. However, it's not the only thing that they're doing. They're not just changing some text here and there. You can see that XSEED and Marvelous is really putting everything they can into this to make it as good as possible. So for example, in Rune Factory 5, there's a stamp system which works kind of like achievements. So when you get married in the Japanese version of the game, you get this stamp with a little bride and groom. However, in the Western release of the game, you're gonna get a redesigned icon, and it's just 2 wedding rings. So that's gonna work for all couples. So that's just a nice little touch that make things better for everybody. And yeah, it's a beautiful stamp. And last but not least, you saw it earlier, but they also changed the cutscenes. And I think that was probably one of the hardest things to change because in Rune Factory 5, you get these beautiful animated cutscenes when you get married. So they had done all of the cutscenes for the different characters, but of course they did not include the same-sex cutscenes. So they had to work on that. Marvelous had to redo these cutscenes. So it was really a lot of work, but they did it and it is worth it and it looks beautiful. So let me know what you guys think. And they're ending their blog post by saying, we had been working on the game's English version for over a year at this point, and viewing these new cutscenes was an emotional moment. This was something we had argued to be included for many years, and we're so grateful to everyone who helped make it a reality. Most of all, we're thankful to the many patient fans for asking for its inclusion in social media comments and emails over the years. You're our favorite part of working on this series, and we hope that we're able to deliver an experience that will meet your expectations. So this is such a beautiful thing to read, and it really shows that what you guys are seeing on social media. It really can make an impact. It really can make a difference. So if something upsets you, or if you want to see something change, if you want to see something added, please tell developers on social media or send them some email. And the more voices we have, the more change we can make. So I just want to say thank you to all the Rune Factory fans who also voiced their concerns and wanted some change to happen. So it's thanks to you that we have this in Rune Factory 5. And I'm just so happy for this blog post in general. It really shows how Marvelous and XSEED like really worked together to make this a reality and how much detail they've put into this. And yeah, I'm so hyped. I'm so excited for this. And also so happy that it's coming for the Japanese version of the game as well. So I think that's gonna be pretty much it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you're planning to marry in Rune Factory 5. Also, I know a lot of people told me in comments in previous videos that they were originally very excited for Rune Factory 5, but when they learned that there was no same-sex marriage, they were disappointed and they didn't want to get the game anymore. So let me know if you changed your mind. Let me know if this news changed anything for you, or if you don't care. If you don't care, you're probably not watching this video at this point. But yeah, let me know all your thoughts in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading and responding to all of your comments. Also, I do sometimes stream the Japanese version of Rune Factory 5. So if you want to check that, if you want to watch my streams, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. And also, I do have a Discord. If you want to join it, the link is in the description. And it's filled with fun and nice people who like farming games. So if you want to chat about Rune Factory, Story of Seasons, and all of the other farming games, please check it out, take a look. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for me, guys, today. So thank you so much for watching and have a good day.